Hi, my name is James Song, and this is my career action plan. And at the beginning of the semester, we've learned about the elevator speech, which is basically a short summary about yourself that you would give to a influential person in your field or company, and you only have a short amount of time to do this, so you would do this quickly and efficiently. And my elevator speech would go something like. Hello, my name is James Song, and I'm currently a finance student at the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth. I chose the field of finance because it excites me with curiosity on how the field affects people's standard of living. I'm always hungry to gain experience and knowledge in the field, so eventually I could find new ways to improve other people's standard of living all over the world. Thank you very much for your time. And basically, what I'm trying to get out of this speech is to show that I'm willing to do anything and everything to gain experience and knowledge to improve myself as a finance person and eventually meet my end goal and help other people, um, uh, you know, the way I could help them. And moving on to chapter one, self-awareness. I've realized in this chapter, my my strength would have to be openness to experience because I realized that in the past, experiencing new things would excite me almost, and I realized that going through these experiences, I would learn the most, and just it would just stick with me throughout my life. And my weakness in this chapter would have to be extrovertness because I know that I could be really quiet and inactive when working in a group, and there are times where people would think that I'm bored or disinterested in working in the group, and which I'm totally not. And I realize in the future that this could be problematic as it could actually come off offensive, or I could look bad in front of my bosses or my fellow coworkers. And yeah, I could really try to improve on this by being more assertive, more social, and more asking more questions, and just being more active in the group. And in chapter 16, networking and mentoring, I realized my strength in this would be nurturing the relationship. Personally, because I like one-on-one interactions as opposed to being in a group, because I find them much easier to communicate with them and just form a relationship. And I think me having a preference to the one-on-one interactions makes me more likely to spend more time with that person, which will just equal into a more meaningful bond between me and my mentor. I think the weakness I possess in this chapter would be having a strong relationship, as in I think really when it comes to a mentoring relationship, I would tend to be overly submissive because when my views and beliefs don't really correlate with my mentors, I wouldn't really speak up and just have an internal conflict within myself, whether why my mentor things like that, or should I just speak up, which would just really I realized would hinder my performance in the learning process. I think this will be really problematic to my future because if I continue to do this internal conflict with myself, I think I would miss out on a lot of opportunities and valuable feedbacks and advices that my mentor would actually provide me. And I think in the future, to correct this problem, I would have to improve on being more assertive and asking why my mentor thinks like that, and provide my process and my beliefs, my views, and see where it could go from there. Moving on to chapter three, establishing goals consistent with your values and ethics. Um, as I'm going through this chapter, I realize my strength would have to be staying positive and not letting failure dictate my efforts. Because in the past, I've realized that staying positive after failing would just teach me a lot more of what I did wrong and what I did right, and eventually putting in more effort by staying positive will eventually help me progress towards my goals, as opposed to staying negative will just limit me where I wouldn't learn anything, and just and that could even just spread into my group where it could just hinder the productivity and every overall performance towards the goal. um I think my weakness in this chapter has to be leading, because I would never take the initiative to do pretty much anything that the other group members don't want to do. And I realized that if I did take the initiative, maybe that I could motivate them and it could improve the motivation, the productivity, and the overall progress for us to move on towards the end goal. In the future, I realize if I don't improve in leading, it could just really eliminate opportunities. It could just, I could just really not contribute to improving the group and the performances. And I guess that to improve in this, I would just whatever that holding me back, not take the initiative. I should just take the initiative and just be more assertive. Um, Chapter 10: Building Teams and Group Work. I think in building an effective team, I think my strength has have to be receiving the feedback, because I realized during my past, the professionally and personally, that I would always listen to the constructive feedback, and because I'm always hungry to become better at what I do, and how I can improve, and I'm always welcoming feedback to me to, like, just progress and evolve as a professional and personal person. I think the weakness of mine is actually giving effective feedback to others, because um, I could easily give good feedbacks to them, like, oh, you did a good job, or like, oh, like, I like your work. But when it comes to, like, giving them constructive feedback, I'm always hesitant, because in the back of my mind, I don't want to potentially rise a conflict or demotivate the person, because I have done that in the past, and I really that's really one of my fears, because I know that that could be really detrimental to a group, as it could just spoil the relationship if it does spiral out of control. Um, I think if I did not improve this in the future of giving constructive feedback to others, I feel like that I could be actually wasting more time and resources, as opposed to just telling the person constructively, like, this is what you have to do to improve in it, or you know etc. Like, I think that to improve in this area, I would really have to beforehand think of a way to put it in a way where they won't get offended. And if they do get offended, I would have to figure out a method where I could just cool out everybody, and just bring it back into neutral grounds. Chapter 7: Communicating Efficiently. I think one of my communication strength is definitely sending a message to others in a straightforward way. I think this is why I prefer written messages and electronic messages, because, well, well, I don't know. Yeah, I just like giving them straightforward messages, like, hey, this is what you got to do, and please do it. But I think one of my weaknesses in communication has to be oral communication, because I am a passive communicator. I'm trying to avoid conflict at all times, and I am honestly concerned of pleasing others. And I feel like that really hinders, like, what the message I'm trying to convey, or it could, like, sort of like change up the messages that I'm trying to send. And I realize that in the future, if I don't fix this, it could really make it a confusing matter, as I plan to send a message to somebody, but it ended up being something else. And I think that this would really hinder my yeah contribution to the group. And to improve this, I would really have to concern I still concern about the others, but not really as much as giving my message out, if is if is what I need if is what I need to do. Um, so my conclusion is that from all the exercises I've learned from this class in this semester, I've realized that in order to achieve my end goal as a financial professional and help other people in the world, I would have to be more outspoken and active as a leader, and be more assertive, because I've realized that I am too quiet, I am too shy, and I can be a little too inactive. And I feel like if I do end up if I don't fix these problems, I feel like that I could miss out on a lot of opportunities. I could really almost confuse like others, and I would just not be a efficient or effective team member or leader for other people. And I realized that in order to improve in these areas, I would have to step out of my comfort zone again and just be more assertive. And I would just like to say thank you for the class. I've This is raising my self awareness, and uh, hopefully I can improve in all these areas to become a assertive person and accomplish my goals. Thank you very much, and this was my career action plan for the semester. Thank you.